Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. There's Dean trying to figure out his X Files, as it were.
Whatever, dude.
It's
I
okay.
am so behind
It's not a
when it comes
problem.
to trying to figure out how I get this onto Twitter because I fucking hate Twitter. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Come on into the FiveStack. Come on in. Come on in. Water's fine. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Kat. Hi, everybody. Hi, Louise. Hi, Tracy. Come on in. We'll wait. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get
Yes, we'll
this
do
to
it.
broadcast on X, but the problem that I'm having
Yeah.
is that I hate X.
Yeah, no,
Like
you'll universally hate X. We don't have
It's
to
a,
do it.
f- I know, but it's probably good because we got a couple 100,000 people over there, right?
Yeah.
And there are still good people that love to battle it out. And I'm of the firm and very convicted opinion that I do things on Twitter that I don't do here.
Oh, yeah? What do you do on Twitter that you don't do here? Because
I
that's
did a lot of
intriguing.
filth flarn, if you will.
Oh, really?
A lot of GTFO, like I told this lady from the Catholic Daily News.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you talking to the person from the Catholic Daily News?
She was talking to me.
Oh, dear.
So I told her to go fuck herself. Anyway, long
Oh,
story short, but I don't have a problem with it because if you're one of those weirdo pro-life, pro-forced birth, anti-free choice when it comes to euthanasia, and you believe in conversion therapy, you think
yeah.
gay people are the fucking devil, I think you lose every right. And this is sort of the umbrella that I put over, the language that I use sometimes and the vitriol that I can spew from time to time. I mean, I get familiar with it. This is Dean 1.0. I like to touch base with him sometime. The old version of me, the shock jock version of me. And I like to let that guy, out of the prison yard once in a while for a run.
It's okay. We like you. We like Dean 1. We like Dean 2. We like all of Dean's, so it's fine.
Well, I've settled into 1.5. And
Okay.
so this hardcore evangelical, and I'm an apostate, so I used to be an evangelical Christian, or I was involved in the cult. It's a long story. I don't
Yeah.
want to get into it right now. It's another whole. That's why I can read these people like
Sorry.
books.
Oops. I'm hearing three of
Yeah.
you now. 1 second. Sorry.
Oh,
There you
did
go.
we lose me?
No, we got you. I just wanted to see the chat because there's so many people in chat. I want to make sure we say hi and listen
Well,
to
hi,
it.
chat. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
So, and listen, take no. I don't have a problem with religion, even though every religion starts out as a man-made cult, and if you get enough people and you get tax-deductible status, you become a religion. That's literally how it fucking works. So, and I know hope, for people and ideologies is really, really important. Da, 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 da. But if you're one of those like psycho religious people, like those religious zealots, whether from the Abrahamic section of the religious slide, like the Muslims or the Christians, like the evangelicals and the radicals,
Yeah.
and you like to
Right.
deliver pain and hurt and vitriol to people just living their lives, you get my attention real fucking fast because I get it and I can destroy their ideology, their faith in a moment's notice. And it's the amazing thing about when you go after the religious extremists, specifically the ones that are the underpinning of Maple MAGA, the Christian nationalist movement. And listen, full disclosure, my brother's a pastor. My family are all God fearing Christian individuals, but they're not those people.
How
Like
do we
they're
get
like,
here?
hey.
How do we get to this part of this conversation? Is what I want to know. Is just I'm
Oh,
glad to
because
hear
I was
it.
telling you why I fucking hate
Yeah.
Twitter. Because
Do you need
Twitter's
to
just
fix the
full of
X
those
thing?
psychos.
Do you want to fix
Yeah,
the X
yeah.
thing? So do you go to create broadcast
I
under?
don't want to do it right now. I
Okay,
don't.
okay,
I've
we'll do
got
it
no
next time.
desire to give those people entertainment today.
All right.
But I mean, like I said, I've got like a couple 100,000 followers. But that's why I stay away from
Okay.
Twitter. To be honest with you, it's like the same the same people that breathe the love of Christ are the same people that call you the F slur for a gay person and tell you that they're going to come and kill your kids and they hope that I get raped by Satan
Oh wow.
continuously for 12 hours. And yeah, that's what you
Oh,
get from those
it's
people.
just like a deep download from you today about everything. Yesterday's
Welcome to
show
the
was really
show.
great, wasn't it? Did we have a good time yesterday?
Oh, dude, it was incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really great to talk to. A great panel. Like, oh wow, it's top notch. And the conversation I thought was just really stimulating. I learned so much. That Michael Wolff conversation was really good. Vicky really knows Michael Wolff. Like they know each other. So
I know, and I was impressed that she wanted to take a strip off him as kindly and as a classy British person would, because I wrote a piece about him today. We're going to talk about Michael Wolff. We got a full show for everybody today. Pam Bondi's already let the the cover up plan out of the bag, even though they've got a veto proof vote which says we should see the Epstein files. We'll get to that. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. But back to what you're saying about Vicky. I was nervous.
Yeah.
Like I never get nervous to talk to people, but Vicky Ward and listen, I would have been nervous if I didn't know Lev as well as I know him, but Lev's just a dude, right? And Waj is a dude, but these are serious
They're
hitters.
names. They're names. They've done
They're
lots of great
big
things.
names,
They're,
you know?
I look up to them. I think, wow, every time I'm sit there, they're on. I certainly, I'm a little more careful with the things I say. I'm a little more buttoned down. I'm a little bit more. I know it's
Yeah,
not just,
you were a little anal retentive yesterday. I thought you were
because
like,
it's a lot of buttons and things I got to press and inputs I got to get, and it's not as easy as you think it is. Although I make it look seamless, don't I?
you forget I did radio and it's pretty easy. Although we did have a producer, so it's
Yes.
not that bad.
And this is
But to
TV
your
with pictures.
I know there's more going on here, but no, I listen. We were really fortunate yesterday. Vicky Ward, who is the godmother of the Epstein files, she was the
Mhm.
first person that kind of broke the story for Vanity Fair years ago. Almost got hustled out of town, threatened, and she is dog on a bone. She's still with it, 15 or so years later. Lev Parnas, same thing. He's been threatened all the time. Waj is just an incredible. He's so loquacious. He's so smart, and we got the full treatment yesterday. I would encourage everybody to watch it. It's the FiveStack live panel or the narrative special report if you're at narrative.org or, excuse me, deanblundell.substack.com. Because what we did was, while these historic 417 to 1, 427 to 1,
427 to 1, yeah, in the House.
427 to
Amazing
1,
vote.
near
Yeah.
unanimous vote. And we'll get to the mockery of Clay Higgins, the one lone vote, a little later on today as well. We covered that live, and we really stepped into some different spaces when it comes to the conversation, like the history behind Epstein, why no one has come forward that had that information, including Michael Wolff, the impression of Michael Wolff, who's since gone silent. He's trying to, beat back the hypocritical accusations about why you sat on this, why you did business with the guy. A lot of conversations that people were afraid to have
Mhm.
around the Epstein files,
Yeah.
and I mean from people who know soup to nuts, like everything about the MAGA reaction, everything about the MAGA mind, everything about the way Trump is going to play this out, and we're going to talk about that today because the fix is already in. We're not even 24 hours later. And I would encourage everybody to go watch it because there was some real heartfelt stuff there. There's some great process stuff there, in real context, specifically from people like yourself as well, who've, put 10 years into trying to understand the full context of what the Epstein files, what Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile, child sex trafficking ring, what purpose it served.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we'll get into some of that
Yeah.
today. But yeah, yesterday was incredible. It was
We can do
awesome.
that right now. I mean, I was going to actually put the Pam Bondi story higher up in the show, meaning closer to number one, because it's such a big story. But as we were raising it right now, we should talk about it, I think, first up, because there is a big move afoot, obviously, to suppress the law here. Now it's law. The president hasn't signed it yet. We wonder why he hasn't signed it yet. But, the House and the Senate almost unanimously, signed this law into law. And so, or at least voted into law.
Yeah, he said he was going to sign it as soon as he got to the Resolute desk
What's he
today.
been doing today? Did he have a late night with MBS or something? Because it's now 3:00 and he still hasn't signed the thing. So, why hasn't he signed it is question number one. The first thing we found out this morning was Attorney General Pam Bondi announced this, that she is launching these new federal investigations, as she did last week, into all these people that the president had asked her to: Clinton, Hoffman, Larry Summers. And then, yesterday there was the law does have some loopholes, and the Washington Post and New York Times point this out today, that amongst the loopholes is an opportunity for them to not release information regarding, because of new investigations that are underway. So Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, looking ridiculous as always, had a press conference this morning, and they were asked about what exactly is going on. Like, are there going to be new details, new information, new things going on? This is Pam Bondi this morning. Basically, well, you just have to look at this because it's hilarious. But here she is trying to answer the question.
What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's new information, additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward. And we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
What changed?
So she has no clue really what this new information is. There's just we have information. Yeah, information and
She's
more
so
information.
fucking stupid, dude. I watched that today, and we'll get to it. I don't know if you watched, Justice Fitzpatrick blow up Lindsay Halligan and the whole Comey thing over the past 2
that's
days.
coming up. Yeah.
America's an idiocracy. And you need to paint everything we talk about today as if it is a kakistocracy, idiocracy run by the dumbest fucking people in the world that are there to do one thing and one thing only, which is protect dear leader, protect a guy that walks around in a diaper and smells like shit, who's also got dementia, who put on a fucking carnival for MBS yesterday, who is a rapist, a 34-time felon. So let's just put that in the atmosphere as we kind of discuss this. Pam Bondi stood up there today, and the point of that press conference actually had a Canada tinge to it. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, because there's this dude named Ryan Wedding, who's a former Canadian Olympian, who's like involved with the Sinaloa cartel, and apparently there's a manhunt for him. Canada wants him, CSIS wants him, RCMP wants him, Pam Bondi, the FBI, CIA, they want him, ATF, they want him too. So it was a joint press conference today, which actually was, somewhat friendly, even though the person who I'm very well aware of, the RCMP commissioner, fucking thinks every single idiot that he was standing with is a fucking idiot, and he's right. I watched Pam Bondi do what Lindsay Halligan did with the Comey thing today, but she did it live.
Yeah.
There's things.
There's good things. I've got things. I got information. I have information.
There's things, some stuff, and I'm blonde, and I'm fucking
There was a
an ambulance chaser, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm way over my fucking head, and oh my God, we're all going to fucking jail. So I'm going to do and say whatever I can say and do.
Whatever the Deputy Attorney General wants to say, because that's what she said. She says, I actually have information, but I'm going to let the Deputy Attorney General, the guy that Trump just installed.
Which means he has no information.
This is the answer to this next question. Oh, it's coming. I hope it's coming. It should come. Oh, no, it's not coming.
What new information? And would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out.
Okay.
This guy. Oh, sorry, cut out. So no, she does basically say, yeah, this report is on point. And
What? Wait a second. What new information do you have? That guy knows.
He wrote something on X, and you can read it.
She literally said that.
Yeah, she has no idea.
She's like, he put something out on social media. You can go read it for yourself. But
I don't want to be arrested. Do you want to be arrested? I don't want to be arrested. This guy want to be arrested? Let him go be arrested for some crazy conspiracy, because that's what's going on. I mean, let's call it what it is. If they release these files after this unanimous vote and after declaring just a few months ago that there is actually no new information. She said it herself. There is no new information on Epstein. There's nothing else we need to investigate.
Pretty sure that's why they closed it, right?
Yeah, right. So now there is new information. Doesn't know what it is. The deputy guy, he knows
came
what
out the same day that the tidal wave of people that wanted to see that information said, you fucking show us or you go to jail. It's amazing, isn't it?
Amazing how that happens. And the president still has not signed this new legislation because he's terrified, obviously, of what's in it, which, segues nicely into the next story, which I don't even have a banner for, but is a good story.
Well, hold it before you get there.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the fucking plan, because she leaked the whole plan in that first clip.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well,
She
go ahead.
leaked the whole
Tell me
plan.
what the plan is.
They're going to follow the law. If you're under the impression that they're going to follow the law adjacent to the Constitution of the United States of America, hold up. If you remember, about 9 months ago, Donald Trump signed an executive order that said only the president and the attorney general get to decide what the law is and the interpretation of that law. And if you remember, not long ago, President Trump said everything's a fucking national emergency, including this. And if you remember Mike Johnson yesterday laying the track work, plan B, plan C, plan D, they got contingency plans for burying all this shit, escape hatches for all this stuff. Mike Johnson's like, well, national security. He was like Rain Man yesterday. He's like, national security. Those two words are going to come in very handy. And the fact that they said they're going to follow the law when they decide, and they've got an executive order, like a literal presidential memorandum executive order that says only they get to decide what the fucking law is. That has never been challenged, by the way.
Yeah.
And they plan on following that law. And what that law is to them is everything is a national emergency. And that national emergency is a great big tarp that they get to put over all the Epstein files. And what they'll do is they'll point to sources and methods and say, well, we can't because it's going to create, Mega Mike said it the other day, prior to getting wiped out by John Thune. I imagine he probably went back to the Senate. He's like, what the fuck, you guys? You're going to pull it up. It's like
That was
unanimous.
amazing that the Senate did that. I didn't know.
Oh,
one
it's
was
incredible.
expecting that vote. I really am impressed that they did pull that out in the way they did before anyone expected, before they even had legislation. They voted on it. So.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And it was unanimous. It wasn't like even in the fucking House. Like every single senator was like, "We're not wearing that scarlet letter. Fuck that guy." So they pass the thing. And so when you think about what's at stake here, just remember the words national security, that little phrase, okay? And we're following the law, that little phrase.
Yeah.
And separate those two because they get to decide, according to an NPSM memorandum, what the law is and who interprets it. And then the other part of that, which I find really interesting, is national emergency.
Yeah.
They're going to put everything under that tarp, under that umbrella. And listen, they not only is Trump not going without a fight, they will weaponize this somehow. They will use this to go after more people. They will talk about, and you're seeing the track works get laid for that with Jim with the G, Jordan, JYM, Jordan, and Mega Mike yesterday going, this is all so you go get Donald Trump. This is President of the United States. He's got busy shit to do. He's got important stuff to do. And they'll just call everything a fucking national emergency. And Pam Bondi is too stupid to hide behind that veneer, and she said it today, and she laid out the plan today. If you were listening carefully, if you were really listening, that is afoot, and that is what's happening. So that is the plan.
I agree with you. I think it's exactly what she's doing, and you've got some coverage on deanblundell.substack.com alluding to all of that and reporting on that. It just seems to me that they're a bit tone deaf. I mean, it doesn't, when you've got the entire House and the entire Senate, except for one person in each of those chambers. Tommy Tuberville was the holdout for the Senate. That doesn't really mean very much, but at least one vote for Donald Trump.
Well, Tommy Tuberville's taken a tour through a couple of university cheerleader rooms. So there you go.
Probably. And then so you've got, the whole country almost unanimously and both houses telling the president, we really, really want to see these Epstein files. I mean, it's not like we just kind of maybe want to see these Epstein files. It was, we all want to see the Epstein files.
Yeah.
The president is basically saying, no, I'm not going to show you all the Epstein files. And he just had the equivalent of what would be a no confidence vote. I mean, this is the kind of vote that a president freaks out about. A prime minister in another country would be resigning. This is the country telling him, we have no confidence in you. And if you keep hiding behind all these crimes or covering up these crimes, it's going to get worse for you. Mm-hmm. You get this kind of flashback of that moment when Richard Nixon and a couple of senators walked into Richard Nixon's office and said, we are not there with you anymore, and we're going to impeach you if you don't resign. And that is where we're heading. I think if the president thinks he can get away with this sort of, maneuver and this Justice Department hiding things, he's not going to get away with it. He's not going to get away with it. He's going to be impeached. He's definitely going to lose the next election, and he's going to be impeached right after that. He might even be impeached before that, because everyone wants to save their elections next year. So,
well, he's not afraid of impeachment, right? Like he's been impeached twice. He's trying to wipe that off.
If he gets really impeached and gets loses his job, then he gets arrested right after.
But he's been impeached twice and wasn't arrested after both times he got impeached.
The Senate just voted unanimously to basically slap his wrist. If they did that, they might even be willing to remove him from office.
All right. Well, listen, I think if they remove him from office, the reason why they're going to remove from office is for self-preservation, and they'll point to, he's a pervert. We didn't know, and they all knew. Everybody fucking knew. Listen, let's not confuse yesterday's near unanimous vote with Tommy the Trigger Man Tuberville and Clay Higgins, two yokels, two fucking hillbillies, two MAGA hillbillies, racist hillbillies. And their abstention,
hillbillies.
Yes, probably. Well, they're covering up a pedophile protection ring, right? Yeah. That's what they're doing. Let's not confuse, this whole notion or narrative around, 472, and then how many people in the Senate?
There were 100 people in the Senate.
100 people in the Senate. 100 people in the Senate. So 472 and 99.
97.
So
It was 96 actually, because three people abstained and there was one person.
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
just fucking the courage in those chambers is
Well,
truly amazing, isn't it?
or
But
they
let's
weren't there or something.
But let's not. Yeah, I know we had that problem up here with Carney's vote, which passed, and some people were like, "I was sick." I'm like, "Whatever, dude." Let's not confuse this idea that we're going to start giving courageous honors and medals to every single one of those people that up until the idea that they were going to get wiped out, they were going to, if they voted no, they were going to look like pedophile protectors.
Yeah.
They were going to lose favor with their constituents. This is an 80-20 issue. What do I mean by that? 80% of the United States of America and the citizens in that beautiful country, which I still love, want the fucking Epstein files. They don't like pedophiles.
Yeah.
They don't like knowing that the elected officials are covering up for Donald Trump, who's a pedophile, and all of his pedophile pals, as they continue to sex traffic and sexually assault young children and women for the better part of 35 fucking years.
Mhm.
And so there is no profiling courage for anyone over those 218 signatures. Anybody. I mean, that was unanimous yesterday, right? Unanimous,
Yeah, so
effectively.
the country is
Both of them.
asking, the country is telling the president he has to reveal all this information. He has to let these files out. He can choose to say no, but it's going to cost him a lot of money, and it cost him a lot of power, and it cost him a lot of votes come next November, because there's just not a chance in the world that he can do this after such a cry from America to say, release these files, and he'd not do it. I just don't see how he can win. And if he has a legitimate election next year, and there probably will be, one hopes. The other thing
and to your point,
Yeah.
this wasn't the senators. This was the senators looking at polling,
Yeah.
talking to their constituents, getting polling from their ridings or their districts,
Yeah.
going, if I vote against this, I'm fucked.
Yeah. I'm going to lose next year. And
The
the Senate's very
power of
fragile next
America,
year.
the power of we versus you.
Mhm.
It's fucking incredible. It
That's
really
why there's
is.
a new protest now planned called Remove the Regime. And it's happening on the 10th of December, if I'm not mistaken, for a couple of days outside the White House. And, they mean it, I think, this time. Let's move to story number 5. Harvard University announced Tuesday night it's opening a new investigation into former university president Lawrence Summers and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, an extraordinary step to revisit ties the school thought it had closed in 2020. House documents revealed Summers exchanged hundreds of messages with Epstein through July 5th, 2019, just one day before Epstein's arrest, including conversations where Summers sought Epstein's advice on pursuing a romantic relationship with a woman he called his mentee, with Epstein calling himself Summers' wingman. The investigation will also examine Summers' wife, Elise New, who solicited thousands in Epstein funding for her project years after Harvard claimed it stopped taking his money. There you go. The quiet piggy bank, said someone, kept feeding long after the university said it was closed.
Yeah.
We'll get to the other piggy story in a minute. But that's Larry Summers, also off the board of Open AI.
Open AI, yeah, he
so
quit today.
he's be acting the way everyone else should be acting. Terrified.
Fuck Larry Summers.
Mhm.
Fuck anybody involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Specifically after that sweetheart deal where he got convicted of trafficking for prostitution when everybody fucking knew what he was doing. We'll get into the Michael Wolff stuff in a second as well. This just goes to show, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, that real Americans, real Canadians, moral, decent people don't give a fuck who you voted for. They don't give a shit what card for what party you carry in your wallet. They don't care. These times are over. Watching the dog pile on Larry Summers, and I'm with Meg on this. I'm like, yeah, fuck Larry Summers. Like, I
Yeah, I mean,
don't give a shit about Larry Summers. Like,
no one's defending Larry Summers. Nobody. The
No.
Democrats aren't defending Larry Summers. If he thinks he's going to make this a fight between Democrats and Republicans, it ain't happening. The Democrats are saying, fine, we'll lose all our top leadership if it means that. Fine, no problem. You want to tell us that Clinton was on the Epstein Island? Yeah, let's get rid of him. No problem. Although he's not in power, so it's easy to say. But, there are a lot of people in the Democratic ranks that give a lot of money to the Democrats that could not be there next year. But that's okay. Democrats are okay with it. Republicans are not okay with it.
Yeah, well, of course they're not, because that's the ultimate victim mentality, is being in MAGA. Like, that's, of course they're not okay with it. But let me kind of draw your attention back to, the Democrats just for a second, because they open up an investigation into Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and Reid Hoffman and Larry Summers, and Reid Hoffman's tweeting his dick off. Bill Clinton is nowhere to be found. He's probably in the Maldives in the bushes. And Hillary Clinton hasn't said a fucking word, and usually, Hillary Clinton's got some spite in her, right? Like, she'll weigh in on Donald Trump's failures all the fucking time. Radio silence. Get Bill. If Hillary knew, get her too. These are accomplices to decades-long child sex trafficking offenses where they ruined over 1,000 lives, and then expropriate that over, their familial entanglement. So all of their families destroyed. Virginia Giuffre just committed suicide. And listen, none of this stuff has been proven in court, and I'm talking about any of it. Nobody has been accused with any smoking gun of pedophilia outside of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But I don't care who they are. Nobody cares who they voted for. No one gives a fuck anymore. We are so far past the post when it comes to, and the post I'm talking about is the way that they have forced us to think in terms of, well, let's point our finger over there because you're a Republican. Let's point our finger over there because you're a Democrat. And it needs to be said, I think, by people that have an unpartisan, bipartisan, merit-filled, character, values, virtues-based perspective on any of this. We're here to protect the victims. We're here to get fucking answers for America. Canada's here to get answers for America. Americans are here to get answers for America. And that wind you feel on the back of your neck is the dissolution, the disabusement of the notion that, we got to frame one guy for this. We don't care who did anything. I don't want to know if it was one of my guys in the Republican Party. I don't want to know if it was one of my guys in the Democratic Party. I just want to hang this on somebody. 80% of Americans today, right now, feel that way. That is powerful.
Because what it comes down to is corruption. And, any government that is in favor of corruption, that makes it their business to be corrupt almost all the time, which is the current regime, is in trouble. Because if people realize that they're all about corruption and that this corruption is linked to the Jeffrey Epstein network, this is what we're coming down to. People may not agree with me, but my view of this thing is that this is a giant organized criminal network. And it's a giant criminal organized network that has been holding up America and American politicians, and also extorting American politicians and the American taxpayer to the tune of $80 trillion in the last 40 or 50 years. And that organized criminal network is the same network that is Jeffrey Epstein, and is the same network that is Donald Trump and is many other people. And so the fear around exposing the Jeffrey Epstein files is exactly that. And I keep saying this, and maybe one day I'll be proven true otherwise, but there is a lot of content there, I believe, that is going to reveal that this is a major criminal operation, and the president is a part of it. And no wonder he's terrified. No wonder he is, yelling at reporters left, right, and center if they dare raise the question of whether he's incriminated by the Jeffrey Epstein files. Well, of course he's terrified, and of course he is incriminated, or he wouldn't be responding that way. I mean, he'd be responding very, very differently. In fact, he probably would have signed the thing by now, which he still hasn't done. So There you go. Number 4, and well, maybe let's do this one as number 4. Justice Department. In a stunning courtroom admission Wednesday, the Justice Department prosecutors acknowledged that a full grand jury never reviewed the final indictment against former FBI Director James Comey, potentially destroying the entire case. The revelation emerged when Judge Michael Nachmanoff questioned prosecutors about missing grand jury transcripts.
Second judge say the same thing, by the way.
Unbelievable. Missing grand jury transcripts. Discovering that after the grand jury rejected an early 3-count indictment, prosecutors simply had the foreperson sign a revised 2-count version without ever presenting it to the full panel. Defense attorney Michael Dreeben, who argued that 105 cases before the Supreme Court, told the judge bluntly, there is no indictment Mr. Comey is facing. So the grand jury didn't approve these crimes against his
Is that
charges.
bad?
It's been bad. It's been bad when you when you're the president installed you as the prosecutor in this case. And now you're basically just freelancing, just telling the court they have to sign, the grand jury foreman, he has to sign these charges, and then you're basically forcing these charges against Comey. That's not exactly how the Justice Department or the justice system works in America. So
I believe Miss Halligan is going to go through some things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look the law.
Can you imagine being James Comey? Trump fires you on live TV, says you're a bad guy, calls you every name in the MAGA fucking thesaurus, like every name, for 8 years, by the way. Just because James Comey was like, I didn't pledge an oath of loyalty to that prick, to the Constitution. And now finally staring down a federal indictment from Trump's Justice Department, and then in open court. This happened today again, twice, yesterday and today. Fitzpatrick and what's the gentleman's name? Nachmanoff?
Nachmanoff. Michael Nachmanoff.
2 different courts both say the exact same thing. In open court, that Lindsay Halligan, on behalf of Donald Trump and the government, admits that the full grand jury never actually saw the final indictment that they used to charge you. Like,
how stupid is she? Because honestly,
well,
Jim Comey is
to
not.
be fair,
he's a
hang on.
hang on.
He
knows a thing or two.
Yes, of course, but like Lindsay Halligan is a 36-year-old former employee at Trump Tower and beauty contestant who ran for Miss Colorado, who used to do Camel cigarette events where she'd walk around in dude's underwear and a tight t-shirt going,
God.
Cigars, cigarettes, cigarettes.
Charges, anybody?
Charges, anybody? Again, I go back to this. It's an idiocracy. He just surrounds himself with the dumbest fucking people. And poor Lindsay Halligan, she thinks she's hit the big time. Yeah. And Donald gets a call from Donald Trump. He's like, Lindsay, I need you to come up here, charge James Comey. You'll be all over. Because this is how he sold it to her, by the way. I read a great piece on this today. Yeah. I'm going to turn you into a superstar. You get a job if you do this. Be in the White House. You're going to do a great time. You're going to be the best. You're going to be the greatest. All you have to do is come up here and try and figure out a way to frame James Comey for a crime he never fucking committed.
The former FBI director.
So she's an insurance. Yeah, dude. Fucking guy's got all the resources in the world. Yeah. So she comes up to Washington. She's like, okay. And then Trump's like, here's what you do. You talk to my legal team. So Trump's got the shadow legal team. And they're like, don't worry. We'll tell you what to do. But unfortunately, because Don hires dumb fucks willing to break the law for him because they're dumb fucks, they give her all kinds of advice. And the advice that they gave her is show the grand jury this one thing. Promise them that it'll get worse if they just indict James Comey. Because this is, I'm just putting this in street language so everybody understands it. I'm also not a lawyer, so it makes sense to me. Tell the grand jury that these are the charging documents, and don't worry, we'll have more. And this is how bad it is. And use a deposition, a client attorney privileged covered deposition between James Comey and his lawyer, which somehow they got their fucking hands on.
Yeah.
And then torque the language and present that to the grand jury and tell them, don't worry, more's coming. Trust me. This is a crime against humanity. James Comey's the worst. And there's no grand jury testimony, by the way. There's no, usually you'll find, oh, this person said that about this.
Yeah, it's all
All
missing.
you knew is, it's all gone. No one knows where it
It
is.
never happened. There was no deliberation about it. It was never deliberated. It was never presented to them. They just handed it over to the foreman and said, "You sign it." He did.
You got it.
And this is why Halligan's case against James Comey is falling apart. It's complete catastrophe. And it's just another sign that Donald Trump is flailing.
Dude, it's not
as
just
the
falling
country.
apart. She's going to get disbarred.
Yeah, she's probably going to get a criminal
And Lindsay
prosecution.
Halligan, if you're listening to me,
Yeah.
okay, listen very carefully. Preserve all records. First, quit. Let's just go back again. Quit. Admit what you did. Preserve all your records and get a real lawyer, not an insurance lawyer buddy of yours.
A real lawyer.
Get a real constitutional law expert.
Yeah, this is not a good look for them. Number 3, President Trump defended Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Tuesday over the killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, saying things happen and that MBS knew nothing about it, despite a CIA assessment concluding the opposite.
That he engineered it, by the way.
Engineered
The
it.
CIA, yeah.
Trump's dismissal came as he hosted MBS at a White House state dinner complete with Army honor guard, black horses, and trumpeters, and an F-35 flyover.
And he saluted him too, by the way.
You've got the story on deanblundell.substack.com. This is quite a scene last night.
Yeah, the pageantry was unbelievable. Let me kind of take you through a Coles Notes tour. Coles Notes is a cheat book that Canadians have, where if you don't want to read a book, you get this little tiny book. It's like, here's.
I think the Americans.
Do they have them in the
yeah,
States? Okay, well, good.
I think so.
Let me take you through a cheat Coles Notes code little version of what happened yesterday. Donald Trump and MBS are friends. They're both greedy fucks. They're both dictators. They're both fascists. And they're both involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
Deeply involved with Jeffrey Epstein. So vote happens. Trump picks up the phone. He's like, MBS, love for you to come down here. Need a distraction. Got to tell people that you're going to put
a trillion.
$1 trillion. Now, keep in mind the GDP of Saudi Arabia is 1.1 trillion.
Yeah.
You're going to give us your entire GDP. And just tell everybody that, and I'll be happy. And then we'll put on a show, and then we'll tell everybody that you like me more than Biden, and the country's better and the hottest country in the world. And that's exactly what happened yesterday.
Yeah. Do you want to listen to some clips? Oh, you tell me when you want to.
Oh, dude. Yeah, please. In amongst that operation, anytime Jeffrey Epstein's name came up, or anytime someone brought up the fucking fact that Saudi Arabia was behind 9/11, and that man, MBS, murdered Jamal Khashoggi and cut him into pieces, put him in a bag, and threw him in the trash. An American fucking citizen. Donald Trump took MBS's side and literally whitewashed, abused, verbally abused, and threatened the person, one woman answering the question. It's got to be a woman because he has no respect for women. Play the first clip if you can. This is fascinating.
So there's 3 here. There's one that's 2 minutes long, and there's one that's 41 seconds long. It was the one with the reporter. You want to hear the one with the reporter, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to this one. This is Mary Bruce, I think, from ABC, by the way.
Yeah, Mary Bruce, great.
1 week for Congress to release the Epstein files. Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just...
Oh, sorry, that cut off there. He does go on a little bit.
Play it again. Play it again.
Yeah, okay.
Because, what a great little intro, what a great little lead in. She asks literally a normal question anybody would ask someone in the circumstance where the president of the United States brings a terrorist into the country that murdered. Go ahead.
To release the Epstein files. Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely.
Look at his
You're
face.
all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych.
Someone psyched him over. Psych.
You're a terrible person and a
Terrible
terrible
person.
reporter.
It gets better.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress?
That's actually
to
there's the one
release
clip. There's another
absentee
clip that
files?
I'll
Why
show you in a
not just
second,
do it
which
now?
follows up from this. But
It's not
it
the
is,
Well, that was the Epstein question.
Right.
So goes after her, then threatens. I don't think this is the clip where he threatens ABC's license. She's an ABC
I've got a
reporter.
clip here, which may be the one you're thinking about. This is not the one you
228.
sent me. This is different, but I'll show you who.
Yeah,
Let me show you this
please.
one. I don't know. We'll see
Mr.
what happens.
President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
I think you are a terrible reporter. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. What the Epstein is a Democrat hoax. Your crappy company is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC.
Mr. President.
Now that is.
Yeah. Can I just kind of give
Yeah,
you
go for
some details there?
Yeah.
ABC doesn't have or need a license. Affiliates do.
Yeah.
So he can't take it away.
No, and it's also
She's a woman.
licenses from the public. They're not licenses from the FCC. They
Correct.
Public.
Yeah.
It's them. The public owns
Yeah,
the
yeah.
airwaves, not
You got it.
Trump.
Yeah, you got it. In the United States, it's different in Canada. The government owns licenses for broadcasting, but those are individual licenses for individual outlets. They're not for mother companies that own, the affiliates and all the different radio stations, television stations, et cetera, et cetera. So he's an idiot. He has no idea what he's fucking talking about. And all she did was say, hey, listen, fuck, this is a historic day. Why don't you could have just released the Epstein files and you did not. Can you tell me why? And he's like, I don't have a problem with your question, which he does. I have a problem with your tone. Okay, let's talk about the tone. Absolutely fucking measured and a professional tone. Mary Bruce nailed it.
Yeah,
nailed
she's
it.
great. She's
Yeah.
she's the best reporter now in that whole press call because she really is the real deal. That's what you meant to do at these press conferences. You're meant to ask the tough questions. What's the point of being there? What's the point of earning those big salaries if you're not asking those tough questions? But of course, it all follows what happened the day before, which is on the Air Force One when he decided to call someone, also a very professional reporter from Bloomberg. Quiet piggy was the term.
Piggy. Yeah, called her piggy. Quiet piggy.
Controversy today over the president's treatment of a reporter aboard Air Force One.
Quiet.
Yep, he really did call a female reporter Piggy. She was peppering him with uncomfortable questions about the Epstein files.
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said you knew about the girls?
Trump answered her first question.
I know nothing about that. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years.
But when she tried to ask a follow-up, he lashed out.
If there's nothing incriminating in the files, sir, why not acting as a...
Quiet.
This photograph of the moment shows just how angry the president is, thrusting his finger right in the reporter's face. She's Catherine Lucy from Bloomberg News.
It's interesting what he got upset about. The question was, is there anything incriminating about you in the Epstein files? That's what upset him.
Quiet piggy.
That's what he got really mad about. I mean, he's really furious there.
Yeah.
It's about as mad as you can get. Not to mention the fact that it's now 2 days in a row where he's decided to bully two female reporters about a story that is all about abusing women, mostly teenage girls, that he has occasionally been implicated in a legal suit that, I mean, never went through, but he has been, implicated in this entire story before, and he is out there bullying, harassing, saying terrible things to these people. Neither question was wrong. Neither question was inappropriate. The reporters are doing exactly what they should be doing. They should be applauded for their courage and for their, doing the job that they should be doing. And
Yeah.
he's berating them. He's treating them like quiet piggy.
Yeah, he's a misogynist. He hates women. He thinks women are assets, and you saw it come out in that clip, and you also saw it come out in the Oval Office with Mary Bruce. There's another clip. I think it's 228. I don't know if you have it, where Mary Bruce asks a very fucking logical question of Donald Trump, who is hosting a guy who murdered Jamal Khashoggi, who is partly responsible for 9/11, that murdered well over 6,000 people. If you extrapolate all the disease and PTSD and suicide, closer to 10,000 people in New York and during 9/11, which I was deeply, deeply affected by because I was doing radio at the time and covered it live. And she asks him a question. If you have the clip,
Yeah, it's what
I would love to play it because He's protecting a guy who funded an attack on Americans in America. Watch this clip.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news, ABC fake news, one of the
But the
worst,
question is
one of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have
Never
left,
does.
And when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell
Neither
you
are
right
you.
now. As far as this gentleman is concerned,
It's a lie.
he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's okay, just you ask, Mr.
But
President,
please, go ahead.
if you allow me to answer. I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden, he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or nothing illegal way. And it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc. in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that. And it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can I or should you go? You go.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just might. Besides the fact that Trump is an idiot for just berating this journalist, there are so many important stories in this particular question. 9/11 was clearly an operation which involved Saudi operatives, but it also involved a senior diplomat, a Saudi diplomat, that the hierarchy inside of the crown in Saudi Arabia knew about. There is very little to suggest otherwise. So this idea that it's just this thing that bin Laden did in order to somehow damage the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States is, it's just not, it doesn't pass the test. It just doesn't. It's just
No.
the reality of it is the Saudis were there the next day with George Bush. George Bush was in the pocket of the Saudis, as one would say. There is many good reasons why they wanted that war to happen and why they wanted the building, the World Trade Center down for many, many reasons. But this was a terrorist attack designed to be a terrorist attack on America. The Saudis were implicated. Other countries were implicated. It's just, it's hard to run from that reality. But I do think at least the Crown Prince sounds somewhat normal in responding to these questions versus Trump, which is, I'm not saying he's saying the truth. I'm just saying he sounds like he's like, he knows how to spin the room. But on Khashoggi, he was directly involved with Khashoggi. This was not a things happen. This was Khashoggi was saying things and reporting things about Mohammed bin Salman's regime that were uncomfortable for him. And he was doing it in the Washington Post. And he wasn't a citizen, but he was a resident of America. And he was doing a what journalists do, write uncomfortable things sometimes, like other journalists ask uncomfortable questions sometimes. The fact that he would sit there and be able to firstly have a presence in the White House when Donald Trump during the first administration covered up for MBS as this was happening. He was the guy who was in charge at the time, and they
And add into that the $2 billion cash infusion into Jared Kushner's venture capital company from MBS.
And Jared was in communication on WhatsApp with the Crown Prince that we still don't know about. We still don't know about the whole, the United States. Donald Trump came out on the front lawn of the White House and basically defended MBS during that whole thing. And he should never have done that. He should have completely criticized him, and they should have stopped any relationships with the Saudi prince until this was cleared up. And to have him present in the White House is just so galling. It's so galling because, we still don't know exactly what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. And even though they've tried to do various things to try and make up for this in terms of giving their family a lot of stuff in Saudi Arabia, this story is not done. This was an attack on American freedom and American journalists and an American press. And it's, the fact that he is being celebrated with a dinner is just beyond me.
Well, in a state dinner, one that Donald Trump announced a new security pact and out of NATO security pact and said, we're going to protect you forever, dude. You're so awesome. You got all that money. And that's really what it comes down to, is that Donald Trump only gives a shit about one thing, Donald Trump's money. And he knows where the money is globally. And that money comes freely for any kind of sane washing or whitewashing or sport washing, whether it be the Live Golf Tour, whether it be yesterday's absolutely fucking incredulous press conference where he effectively said Jamal Khashoggi had it coming. A lot of people didn't like him. So things happened. They strangled that man. There was audio inside I don't know if it still exists. I haven't listened to it since it happened.
Listen to.
Audio of him being strangled and dismembered in the embassy where he was murdered.
In Turkey. Yeah.
In Turkey. And you can't and listen, Trump has access to that information. Trump knows that.
Trump
or he might have forgotten it.
Giving the information to
he might have been involved in okaying it.
And that yes. Jared was involved in providing that information to MBS when they were having their late night whatever's in Riyadh. So and they're both connected, as you pointed, Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein talks about the MBS Jamal Khashoggi incident, and in a not something that hasn't received much attention, but in one of his emails, Jeffrey Epstein tells Tom Pritzker that MBS just sent him a full tent as a Christmas gift,
full Bedouin tent, rugs and all.
Yeah,
he's like,
why is that happening? Why is MBS sending Jeffrey Epstein a tent? And why is it just doesn't make there's too much here. There's too much, and we can go back to the connection with Khashoggi and Adnan Khashoggi and all sorts of things. But this was appalling, and to have that happen on the day the Jeffrey Epstein files were voted that they must be released is just stunning. That's not going to happen. Where are we? We are number one. We are number one, which we may have already done. Because I rejigged it. Bondi was coming up, and then the Epstein thing was. So I think it actually.
We're finished.
We're done.
We're done early. We're done the FiveStack. We didn't even realize it.
Not even that early. Just a few minutes.
It's pretty awesome.
But we did the whole FiveStack. I mixed up the orders and these graphics. So
it happens. We're busy people that live busy lives. Yeah. I mean, I'm not unhappy. We're done the FiveStack.
That was a good one though.
Really good one. Listen, everybody. This isn't just our pleasure to be able to kind of disseminate this information and act as Sherpas. I say this all the time. We're you. We ask the same questions. We want to know the same things. The same bullshit doesn't make sense to us. And we get a chance to do this for you and with you every single day at 3:00. And would love for you to share this with as many people as possible. This did not go out of my Substack, so I will make sure that it goes out of my Substack. And I just got to add me as an author later, and I'll take care of the rest.
Did you accept the thing?
I did. Some reason it didn't work, and that's okay. That's okay.
I'm so confused. I
know. Well, it's just one of those things.
I'm going to invite Substack and ask them.
The most important aspect of this is that you chose to spend some time with us today in a historic time in the United States of America. I watched that panel yesterday. I think prime time, we were like 4,500 people watching.
Mhm. And it's
Us
10 now. I think way even higher than 10,000 or 15,000
10,000
viewers.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, it's an honor because it means you trust us with your information. You trust us with your minds. You trust us to kind of affirm what you're doing. And sharing this is so important. Hitting those hearts, hammering that little box with a square in the side, down at the bottom right hand side, hitting that Chiron, sending this to your friends because the beginning of the end is here. It really, really is here. And this kind of information is not readily available, which is why we do it. Zev and I laugh because we live in Canada, but we're kind of like that underground railroad that kind of shovels real information perspective and gives people, the information they need to know so they're not confused by that flooding of the zone of bullshit by Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, and the rest of the MAGA machine. Subscribing is so important to us, free or paid. We're so grateful to have you as part of our community, as part of our resistance. And yesterday was such a beautiful example of how that resistance has finally come together, where we got Vicky Ward, Wajahat Ali, Lev, you, me, and we do this viral podcast, Viral Substack Live, and it only happens on Substack Live. Where we're starting to bring these people together. We're starting to bring everybody together to share in our shared experience and to give you the information that we have. We didn't get to Michael Wolff. That's one thing we didn't get to. We'll do it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
true.
Because there are a lot of very, very bad people who are still willing to do what's best for them as opposed to what's best for the republic, what's best for victims, what's best for the greater good. So if you can become a subscriber, if you already haven't, so grateful to have you as part of the resistance. If you can become a paid subscriber, my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been blown away. We've all got easily accessible content. Some of the stuff's paid, the chat is paid, and we want to talk to you. We want to get to your questions, and we want to answer your questions, and we want to bring you up and bring you on. And the exclusive content that we do, specifically the stuff that Zev does over at narrative.org with his Greatest Heist Book 2 series, which is fucking incredible, is worth every penny of that $8 a month or that $80 a year or $150 in my case, which is now 25% off for life, where you never have to pay again if you go to deanblundell.substack.com. But we're just so thankful, and I'm amazed every day at thousands of people that pile in here and the growth of this community, that I want to thank you. And I think I can speak on your behalf too, now that you're a big, beautiful bull checkmark, that we've done this for years, and to have done this for years and finally to connect at such an important time in our history, in the pantheon of democracy in North America, globally, to be able to connect with you and have you trust us is one of the most humbling things for Zev and myself. That you not only keep us fed, keep us dry, keep us warm, keep us moving forward, keep us employed because we work for you. We're not going to abandon this. We're not going anywhere. We're not fly-by-night guys or grifters. We're people that literally put our heart and soul into what we do. And that man right there, my friend Zev Shalev, my very good friend Zev Shalev, no one has toiled harder for the past decade other than maybe Vicky Ward. Other than maybe Vicky Ward.
I'll buy it.
In trying to open up the eyes of so many as to what's really at stake. Yes, of course, victims are at stake. Yes, of course, we want to offer transparency for those victims and give them relief. That is the most important thing to us. But there's 40 years of back history that we try to put together, that we explain through the reactions and actions of the people like Donald Trump, people like Mike Johnson, people like Pam Bondi, that they are trying to literally batten down the hatches now, and the fucking good shit MAGA has sprung a bunch of leaks. So stay with us, come with us, become a subscriber if you can, paid, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But share this with as many people as humanly possible, and come with us on this journey, because we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I get the feeling it's going to be sooner than later, Zev. I don't know if you do.
You're so right about everything you're saying. And also, let me add that, Pam Bondi and Donald Trump don't have to be the people who release all this information. There is a lot of information out there that Dean and I share on a regular basis, and we did yesterday during that panel. and I'm doing now in The Greatest Heist. I mean, I'm currently looking at this 2008 crash and seeing exactly what Jeffrey Epstein, Jamie Dimon did during those years, and the interplay that had with the sex investigation that was happening out of Florida. It's all connected, and I'm gonna reveal it. You're gonna reveal it. We're gonna share it here on FiveStack. We do it through our panels. We do it through these shows. The story can be told without the FBI files, and the story will be told without the FBI files. Now, I'm sure Donald Trump is going to sign this thing, although he still has not signed it, which is, well, it's like 4:00. Sign it. If he doesn't sign it, it tells us exactly what
It was
he's
on
gonna
his
do.
desk at 8:00 this morning. But
Yeah, he's been sitting around doing nothing. And you know what Pam Bondi's doing, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to tell the story. I'm still going to tell the story, and there's much more to it, of course, than I know in the FBI files. But what I know and what we're seeing in our investigation and what you're covering on deanblundell.substack.com is a lot of the information that they have already in those files. So we'll reveal them regardless, and that's why we do what we do. So I think it's going to come out one way or another, Dean.
oh, it's coming. It's coming. But let's speed it up together if you can.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Thanks for doing this, dude. Appreciate it. Great to see you today.
Good to see you too. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3:00. Cheers, everyone.
Bye, guys.